Yep, the black man is holding his gun.
Throw the knife that way! Throw it away! Throw it away! Hey, he hasn't dropped it! Put it down!
I believe those are some victims. See, the black man is holding his gun on him. Anyone here thinking, oh, thank God he was stopped by a bystander, by a good guy with a legal gun? Anyone thinking that? Because that's exactly what happened. I don't know if you guys followed the story. Now, it went out sort of nationally, but the media grossly misrepresented this story. And again, it's because the left, they don't share the same interests. Let me ask you this. What's most important in your life? In your life on a day-to-day basis? Comment below. I'm willing to bet it's the security, right? Security meaning physical security, emotional security, and prosperity of your family, of your community, of your loved ones, of your friends, to be able to live your life as you see fit and make sure that everyone around you is happy, doing well. Pretty much, right? That's probably top 5. Your health, your family, your freedom, that's most Americans. Okay, the left doesn't share those values because if they did, they would share your stance on a lot of policies. So let me start this off with how you may have heard this story, and then I'll tell you what actually happened. So, well, you know what? Hit the stinger. This is time for media malpractice. So a stabbing spree, Traverse City, that's Michigan, happened at a Wal-mart. If you watched the local and mainstream media, this is what you would have thought. I just scarecrowed. I think of things I never think. I'm an idiot.
We'll admonish you in a minute.
Traverse City, Michigan, stabbing spree at a Walmart. If you watch the mainstream and local media, this is what you would have thought took place.
Breaking news out of Traverse City, a stabbing spree at a Walmart, leaving 11 people injured. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Rudolph Sineda.
I think so.
If you're familiar with Traverse City, this is the Walmart right off US 31. All of this unfolding around 5 p.m. today. We did get an update from the Grand Traverse County Sheriff's Office tonight. Here is what we know right now. As I mentioned, 11 people currently being treated. 6 of the victims are men, 5 women. At least 3 had to have surgery tonight. Police have identified the suspect as a 42-year-old man. We're also learning he used a folding knife in this attack. A motive still unclear.
So that's what you saw there.
Right.
And looking for more information, and then what I'll present to you was publicly available at this time. This is what the sheriff had to say.
The Grand Traverse County Sheriff Michael Shea said in a press conference that this did appear to be a random attack and would not comment on the mental condition of the suspect, who is in custody.
I'd say bad.
Based on the information that we have at this time, it appears there were random acts, that there was no, the victims were not predetermined. And again, that's based on the information we have at this time.
Okay, so all this information was coming out. Now, what I'm about to show you was available, and they certainly would have known this the second they showed up to the conflict. You just think that was a stabbing, and some citizens maybe got involved, maybe subdued them, the cops took care of it, right? That would be your impression. Anyone here, if you haven't heard this story yet, anyone here thinking, oh, thank God he was stopped by a bystander, by a good guy with a legal gun? Anyone thinking that? Because that's exactly what happened. Here's the video of the man being stopped. Yep, the black man is holding his gun.
Throw the knife that way! Throw it away! Throw it away! Hey, he hasn't dropped it! Put it down!
I believe those are some victims. See, the black man is holding his gun on him. By the way, should have shot him.
Yeah.
If he doesn't drop the knife, you shoot him.
And a bunch of those guys right there are very, very, very lucky that guy.
Yeah, they were being really. They were being really.
Do not close distance like that.
He didn't drop the knife. He should have shot him. And as Mr. Guns and Gear would say, save the taxpayer hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yep,
there you go.
He absolutely should have. By the way, that man was Derrick Perry, a hero and a Marine veteran. He has a background in security training.
Absolutely.
So when you heard the story, did anyone think, oh, thank God a man with a gun stopped? Because he would have kept stabbing.
Yes.
Because you'll hear the left say, oh, what, you think you're going to be Rambo? Oh, let me guess, a good guy with a gun stop. Yes, that is true. Just because you guys say it's a cliche doesn't make it not true. You're probably not racist because you have black friends. Correct. White supremacists don't have black friends. Oh, what, you think that if you had a gun, you would stop a guy with a knife? Yes, dummy.
Yeah, this guy did it without even discharging a round.
Right.
Yeah, that's what stopped him. Now, if he had not stopped the man still would have been stopped by someone with a gun. It would have been a cop. So they didn't present that to you. Here's what else they withheld.
Well, thank God it wasn't one of those self-firing SIGs, though.
Right, yes, exactly. It ends today. The suspect, 42-year-old Bradford James Gilley, seems to be a nut job with many prior arrests. He believes possibly that he is Jesus reincarnated, which is a mixing of religions that makes no sense.
Yeah.
He's already been charged with 1 count of terrorism, 11 counts of assault with intent to kill.
What happened to turning the other cheek?
And well, here's the thing, too.
Is that not a attempted? They don't have attempted murder as a charge in Michigan, or is that what it's called?
And we'll get to. Yeah, that's what you would think. Here's the thing: this man shouldn't be around in civilized society. It's with all these big cities, they become hellscapes. You guys have kids. You guys try walking through you visit New York now and they get scared. I'm sorry, at a certain point, if you have 1, 2, 3 counts of assault and counts of terrorism, and if you don't get to panhandle. This man, there have been complaints about this man in the Wal-mart parking lot demanding money from customers. This is not new, but because it's Michigan and because of the soft on crime idea, this guy with at least 12 counts that he has had in the past, including violent assault, is still allowed to go because we don't want to be mean to our homeless population. And we also don't want you to be able to carry firearms. That's the position of the left. This man, Gilley, he's also from Afton, Michigan, and was last listed as living in, Josh?
Chicago?
No, Sheboygan. Very big in Sheboygan. It's about 80 miles north of Traverse City. I've been to that Wal-mart, by the way. It's a beautiful town, Traverse City. It was a beautiful town on the water, gorgeous in Michigan, up in northern Michigan. I would have once upon a time recommended you go. Since 2019, they've seen, of course, a drastic increase in violent crime, which is trending up in all of Michigan. 2021, Michigan passed a bunch of soft-on crime initiatives like bail reform, reducing probation and jail time, issuing citations over arrests. And so that's led to homelessness in the area increasing in Traverse City, like at 2 times the rate of the rest of Michigan, where it's also increasing. To be clear, near that Wal-mart, there was a Pines Park. We've been there. A homeless encampment that had to be broken up because there was open-air drug use. There had been break-ins in nearby businesses. And of course, people have been complaining, saying, hey, our city is changing. Our city, this is not, and the left goes, no, we have to have bail reform. No, we have to be. This is how you end up with Dirty Harry and Charles Bronson and Death Wish. This is how you end up with that. I did a whole segment on that several years ago saying you're going to see the return of the vigilante. And maybe because of all of that, because of Michigan's policies that have led to more crime, because of the left's viewpoint and their policies on carrying firearms, they don't want to cover the story where Michigan dropped the ball with their policies, and that ball got picked up by a legally carrying citizen to stop a man with a knife who stabbed 11 people. None of that fits into their narrative, and so they cover it as, hey, there was a stabbing that ended up kind of being stopped. Here again, just to show you how egregious it is, go read some more headlines and descriptions on this story. From NBC, the suspect, a Michigan resident, was captured in 3 minutes thanks to, quote, citizen involvement, and was not injured. The New York Times, citizen involvement brought the attack to an end, the sheriff said, declining to elaborate. AP, a sheriff's deputy arrived within minutes and took the man into custody, and people in the store also helped apprehend the suspect and treat the victims. It was a man on a wild stabbing spree who should not have been living among those in society because he's a violent criminal, but because of soft on crime policy was able to stab many people, and he was stopped by a good guy with a gun. If you'd have watched that here's the initial story again from local Michigan news, fast forwarded just so you can see, they never mention the good guy with a gun, which is the highlight, one could argue.
Breaking news out of Traverse City, a stabbing spree at a Wal-mart leaving 11 people injured. Motive still unclear.
Victims were not predetermined. And again, that's based on the information we have at this time.
I'm grateful to the first responders for their swift response to apprehend the suspect.
No, how about you thank the guy who served his country and saved lives that day? Oh, he had a gun. So only cops should have guns. By the way, the response time there from cops, 3 minutes. For the citizens, it could be 10 seconds. It could be 1 minute. Just to give you an idea. Yeah, when people say, oh, you really think you're going to stop someone with a gun? Yeah, exactly. Yes, absolutely. And by the way, it's why every single one of you should purchase a firearm and get good with said fire and carry it as often as you possibly can. I want as many people legally carrying firearms in this country as humanly possible. Please go do so right away, because I've used this stat many times. But the reason there's such a widespread, 500,000 to 3 million annual defensive uses of firearms. That means every single year. Now, the reason it's such a widespread is because that right there, do you think that would have been reported if not on video as a defensive use of a firearm? They obviously don't want to mention it. He never fired a round. There are so many that are never documented where someone just pulls out a gun. Hey, you're a woman, you're about to be raped. You pull out your revolver, and guess what? They move on to somebody else, and that doesn't get reported. So at least 500,000 to 3 million, compared to anywhere from 10 to 30. I think the highest year is 36,000 deaths from firearms. Most of them are suicides.
Oh, suicide, yes.
500,000 to 3 million defensive uses of firearms. Let me ask you this. Do you think that saved lives? Do you think that do you think that guy was going to stop stabbing? Do you think those other people, the citizens who are all thrown into the same pot, would have approached him if they didn't have a guy with a gun leading the charge? 500,000 to 3 million defensive uses of firearms every year. And the media wants you to believe that we just have a gun violence epidemic. Here's a montage just to drive it home.
15 seconds. That's how quickly that Greenwood Mall shooting came to an end. From the time the suspect left the food court bathroom to the time he was taken out, 15 seconds. In fact, in just the short time I've been talking to you, Eli Dickin pulled a gun, took aim, and took out the threat.
An elderly couple home during the time of an attempted home invasion fights the intruder off after being attacked themselves.
An armed citizen is being praised for stopping a gunman at a popular Oklahoma City restaurant.
Linda's 12-year-old grandson grabbed a firearm and fired shots in defense at the mass robbers. One of those suspects, Khalil Herring, dying from his injuries.
Robbers storm a consignment shop in
Caught by a
Pleasant Hill,
12-year-old.
and they get more than they bargained for because a worker was armed and ready to act.
A Bay Area homeowner grabs his gun and opens fire after the sheriff says 3 masked men forced their way in.
I told him I was going to kill him all that with a gun if he didn't get out of my house.
11-year-old Chris Gaither was home alone Wednesday morning when he heard a noise. Someone had broken into his house. Scared, Chris grabbed a 9mm handgun.
The sign outside Granny Jean's home says, "Save the drama for your mama." By phone, the 68-year-old told me this evening drama showed up at her house. A man riding on a bike.
Some guy had pulled off his pants and pulled his pants open and playing with his thing and ran up to in my yard, and I told him to get away from my door, that I would shoot him.
In the penis.
I love old black. I say, you playing with this thing. I say, it's your thing. You do what you want to do. Can't do that around here. Take that drama to your mama. Blam, blam, blam. By the way, think about that. Elderly couple. Old black woman. Potential rape victim. Child.
Yes.
Without a gun, do you know what you refer to all of them? As victims or deceased. The firearm it has changed the course of human history because it's for as much as they want you to be girl boss and girl power and watch Atomic Blonde and Scarlett Johansson can do man push-ups, the only thing that makes a woman or an old man or a child as strong as a violent felon is a gun. Is a gun. Thanks, Mr. Colt. And the media says, let's look out for the most vulnerable among us. Okay? Are you advocating for firearm ownership for every single person who's disabled, who's a woman, who's feeble, who's old? It really is the great equalizer. I want more of you to live. I want fewer of you to be victims. And so I just want you to be aware, and you can check all the references. I want you to be aware of what it is that the media is feeding you. And when you look at just today, trade, When you look at something as benign as fitness and health and their position, and you look at firearm use and ownership and defensive use, in every single case, oh, we don't want, Trump's going to fail on trade. He chickens out. It's good for America. Hey, this is white supremacy, getting fit, Sacha Baron Cohen. Women don't like this. It makes people feel bad. Okay, that's bad for you and your health and bad for your family if you die young and follow their fat pride advice. Guns are a problem. We need to get rid of guns. Okay, again, bad for you, the law-abiding American citizen. Then extend it to everything. Green policy, bad for America. Adding illegal aliens to the census, bad for America. No voter ID, bad for America. Nothing that they do, and certainly not their positions, their worldview, they almost always line up against you, the average law-abiding American citizen, who, if you're like most of us, your priorities are your health, your family, your God, country, freedom, and the pursuit of happiness. They don't want you to have it. An armed, fit, and financially prosperous individual American is of no use to the Democrat Party. Hey, if you're still watching this, you may be one of the 6 million or so subscribers on YouTube who is, for one reason or another, I don't understand it, still here. So back in the day, I would say click one of these videos and subscribe, but really just head on over to my channel on Rumble. Follow me there. I'm live 5 days a week, 11 a.m. Eastern, and I actually say the things that I mean to say. On YouTube, it's everyone here is kind of neutered, really, and there's just a general lack of testicular energy, but I mean that in the heterosexual way. Mostly.